Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host Desmond. Um, Going live randomly. Did not plan on it, but wanted to talk about my good old Detroit Lions, and also wanted to talk about my Crimson Tide playing LSU. So we'll start with that, and let me go ahead and get a banner going real quick. LSU. So LSU, Alabama. Um, I am fully expecting the Crimson Tide to win that game and to win it pretty big. But weird things happen in this game, and I am, for one, hoping that we don't have a lot of weird things happening in the game. Honestly, speaking strictly from an Alabama fan perspective, I would have preferred that LSU wait to fire Brian Kelly until after this game, because you always worry about a little extra boost and juice that sometimes players will get when it comes to firing a coach, and it's just kind of backs against the wall thing when it comes from a player perspective, where they in their minds are thinking everybody's doubting us, they've given up on us, so on and so forth, and then guys just play above their heads, and it's kind of one of those crazy things where shock the world type of deal. But it's one of those things where I'm expecting Alabama to play really well. I'm not really sure as far as LSU's quarterback spot. If Nussmeier, I think he is still healthy enough to play. I guess he was pulled from their last game. They were getting the doors blown off. Excuse me. So Nussmeier's probably going to be playing. Um, he, along with a couple other quarterbacks. So before the season started, I had a hot take that I wanted to put, in video form, that I thought these quarterbacks that they were, all of the media experts, if you will, were telling us were going to be terrific. And it was Arch Manning, it was Garrett Nussmeier, it was Drew Aller. It was teams are going to tank for Arch Manning before he really started a game. I know he started a couple games last year. I did a video on that as well. And I was someone who thought these guys are not going to be. This is not going to be it. So I was shorting my stock on all those quarterbacks specifically. And there's been a lot of talk like Nussmeier's not healthy, so on and so forth. While I can appreciate kid battling it out, fighting it out, and uh, in going through it as far as, hey, I'm not giving up on my team. I could play, so on and so forth. You don't get credit for that. I mean, this is the football is at a point now where guys are getting paid. This is not it's no more you're just on scholarship. These guys are getting paid to do this now. So when that comes into play, it changes things a bit. So I am someone that I do understand it, I get it, but yeah, you only get credit for what you put on film. It's unfortunate, and it's a cutthroat business. That's why Brian Kelly's fired, because it's a cutthroat business. It's one of those what it is type of deals. So what I will say is it's unfortunate. He has is getting gotten banged up or whatever the case may be, but it just kind of is what it is. So we'll see what happens. Ideally for Alabama, I think Alabama's in the spot where they potentially could win the national championship. I think they are a talented enough team that they could. The one thing that I think is just killing them as far as that future is they cannot run the football for the life of them. And I really don't understand it, but it just hasn't happened. It hasn't come to fruition. And you just don't know what's going to happen with it. So there is my concern. There is, can get the run game going because that would be a huge, huge thing. So that is that. From there, we can switch gears and talk about um, the Detroit Lions, my other hometown team, the team that I root for. Um, with the Lions, it's one of those things where Commanders just had a pretty devastating injury to Jaden Daniels, so super unfortunate there. You hate to see that, especially with a young quarterback. He's been really banged up all throughout the year. He's missed a couple games before. Now it looks like he's pretty much out for the season, which once again is unfortunate. You hate to see at any point young, really, really good player get injured. In the season. So that's always an unfortunate thing. You hate to see that. Um, when it comes to the Commanders, I'm probably a little overconfident, but I just don't see a world where Marcus Mariota is going to beat us. One of the big key things is just getting a pass rush, getting pressure on him. He's one of those guys. I don't think you have to be more worried about QB runs with Mariota than you did with Jaden Daniels. I think that was always going to be a bit of a threat. For Mariota, even at his veteran status in tenure, he is still, I think, his legs are way more dangerous than his arm. I don't see him being one of those guys where he's going to carve us up for 250, 300 yards. We're starting to get some guys back. Something that DJ Reed, Dan Campbell said for DJ Reed, he's looking good. We're thinking early December. That is extremely concerning. I was expecting him back a couple weeks after the bye, which we're in that realm. So that's a little concerning, but is what it is. Also saw a lot on social media with the OC John Morton, his comments about what happened in that Vikings game. The fans were not thrilled with it. It didn't sound like a ton of accountability and I can do things better and so on and so forth. It was a lot of, well, we schemed it up pretty good. One or two guys got beat. So that type of talk track, you don't love to see that. Like, listen, man, this is not how we operate. And the time to have the blunders at the podium, especially for the OC, is when we're winning, right? You can say something that's a little weird, a little funky when it comes to right. We're in the midst of winning four in a row, for example. What the fans don't want is us to have a bad game offensively. And to me, 24 points is a bad game for the Detroit Lions. No one can convince me otherwise. So the last thing the fans want is for you to have a bad game offensively. In my mind, a lot of that is your fault, John Morton. And then you get these kind of blunders where it kind of seems like you're deflecting and not really taking ownership of the issues that we had. And we clearly had some issues. So at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. It's one of those things. It's Friday, right? We're on Twitter. It's not a huge deal, but you definitely don't want to have it. I think it'll be a learning experience for him. Put it that way. I think it'll be a learning experience. But no, I'm expecting the Lions to win that game, something in the 35, 38 to 10 range, maybe 38-14, something like that. So that would be my prediction for the game. And yeah, I we'll see. I may put out a video in the morning. We got a lot of really good college football games going on tomorrow, and really excited about them. So, and then obviously rooting for LSU and Alabama at the end of the day. So that is it for me. Please like and subscribe here at the YouTube channel, also on TikTok, the I'll Go podcast as well. Put a decent amount of clips there. But yeah, would greatly appreciate it. And that's it for me. Peace.